Hello, everybody. Really? Okay.
And welcome to Ghoul Society. That's my big sister, Jamie.
And that's my little sister, Sarah. Should we redo it? Are we actually going to use that?
Why not? You always get to say it.
I didn't know you wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Say it.
I just did. No, you do the territorial acknowledgement.
Okay.
No, you can do this. We are keeping this in.
You're
It's
so
too funny.
bossy. We are grateful to be recording on the stolen territories of the Lekwungen, Songhees, Esquimalt, and Wasanich peoples, whose historical relationships with the land continue to this day. The fight against colonial violence and racism is ongoing, and we at Ghoul Society are committed to this fight and working toward reconciliation within ourselves, our families, and our communities. By listening to this podcast, you've officially been inducted into the Ghoul Society. Anyway.
Well, we can redo it if you want.
No. We'll leave it.
I'm trying to take Jamie out of her box by doing by switching around the intro last minute.
Yeah, she really did. It did really throw me off, actually, quite a bit.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's fine.
I thought it would be fun.
Yeah.
Hi.
Got my tea.
Got your tea. We're playing with what are they called?
These are
Squishy.
called Nidos.
Nido.
Yeah. I have 3 cats. One is blue, one is pink, and one is purple.
Turquoise.
And then I also have a pink jelly cube.
Yeah, I love the jelly cube because the more you use it and it gets like warm, the more malleable it is.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's so nice.
Yeah, I really like this one. Maybe I should get one for work.
My friend was saying that you could stick it in the fridge and then it gets
Oh.
even colder and it's like a more fun experience.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Let's see. We have a couple things to go over.
Oh, yeah. Let's go over that first and then I
assume by the time this episode comes out that we will have already done our live show.
Yes.
At the Halloween market, YYJ.
Yeah.
Which probably went awesome.
I assume I wasn't nervous and that I killed it.
Yeah. Probably.
But really, we'll see when we release the live episode.
Mm-hmm.
See what our listeners think, those who couldn't join us.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, we'll release that live episode. Mm-hmm. Probably going to work on it in a week or 2.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to tell me?
Well, today I'm wearing my 2 Girls, 1 Ghost t-shirt.
2 girls, 1 ghost.
Yeah. Honestly, Sabrina and Corinne are the reason why I wanted to start my own podcast. Mm-hmm. Even though we've talked about it and been like, oh, that would be so cool. I found them. I don't even know how I found them. But I just started listening to them and instantly felt a connection. These are my people. This is the podcast that I've actually been looking for all of my life.
Aw. Yeah.
And I just love them so much. Montana just said to me, if you really like what they're doing and they make you feel like you could do it yourself, just do it.
Yeah. And then he said, if you love them so much, why don't you marry them?
Probably. But so I'm wearing my 2 Girls, 1 Ghost t-shirt. Mm-hmm. I also got one of their sweaters.
It's so cute. I love the Ouija board design.
I know.
It's amazing. It's
I know.
So genius.
The sweater I got says trust your pets. And then it has like a pig and a bearded dragon and a cat and a dog on it. Because truly, if you don't listen to your pets, then what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Because we didn't listen to Lady when we were younger and we still went in the basement and that house was haunted AF. And probably should listen to her.
Yeah, it's true.
But also when I think about it, that really freaks me out because sometimes Nala and Simba will just look into corners. When all the lights are off in the house, they just sit and stare in corners and they're just like gazing. And
I swear those apartments are scary.
Yeah.
They're spooky.
Yeah, I don't like to, like, lay alone
No.
in the dark.
No, it's very scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because it's old, but...
Yeah. Should ask the landlord and see if there's been any deaths in there.
Well, someone who lived there committed suicide, but I don't think he committed suicide in the building.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's mentioned it to me, like, quite a few times.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think it was number 5. That place is cursed. That unit is cursed.
Upstairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 5 in my building is cursed.
True. I agree.
For some reason, I don't know why.
So spooky.
So spooky.
Anything else to report?
I mean, no. I'm going to have more time now to do podcast stuff since my work changed to 4 hours.
Oh, I wish.
To 4 days. So that will be really nice to be able to focus, have an extra day on my weekend so that I can get all my adult stuff done and then get the podcast stuff done as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
It'll be my first this week. I'll actually have Friday off. Last week I had to work 4 hours, which obviously isn't bad. It was really great, but this Friday is my actual first full day off.
Yay!
Although I am going into work because I'm getting a massage. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. That's going to be really nice.
Thank you.
Oh. Meanwhile, I'm just drowning in homework.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
And then,
so that means you might hear more stories from Sarah.
Yeah.
Over the next little while.
Yeah. And that's fine. We anticipated that.
For sure. Yeah.
Also, really excited. I bought a bunch of books at the bookstore. I got some more spooky kind of Halloween-y books. Maybe I'll put them on Instagram. I started one today called The September House, which I heard about from Two Girls, One Ghost.
Yes. Okay. I've heard about that too.
Mm-hmm. It's quite short. It's only like 350 pages, so it's really short.
Yes. I need to start listening to audiobooks, I think.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that is how I will read and get through books.
Yeah. I'm also going to read The Butcher Game, which is the second book that Elena Urquhart from Morbid wrote.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. I listened to The Butcher and the Wren last summer on Audible. Really good. I really like the voice actors on it. It's really good.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ooh.
And then this year, her book came out a week ago.
And you found it?
Indigo had it.
Oh, wow.
Immediately. Because last year, I went downtown and Russell's and Monroe's didn't have it, but they're local bookstores, so that kind of makes sense. And they weren't going to get it for like months later or something.
Yeah.
But Indigo had it right away. I also think maybe because she's a bigger personality, like she's more well known, even so this year.
Yeah.
And probably publication is like bigger.
Do you know who it's published with? Is it Penguin House?
I don't think so, no. I don't remember, but it's on her Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm going to read that. And then there's a couple other ones that I got as well. I got a book for my book club. We're going to meet in a couple weeks. So that's going to be really fun.
Yay.
We're actually going to do a weekend.
A weekend?
Trip.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, we're doing a weekend trip.
That's such a book club thing.
Yeah,
I'm so out of the book club
excited.
loop, but whatever.
You don't have time for book club.
No,
I don't even know how you had time to knit that t-shirt. I actually don't.
Well, I've been knitting it since the spring.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's why. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, but I don't know how you have time to do anything.
I know. It's kind of crazy. Whatever.
Whatever.
Are you ready?
I think that's everything. Nothing else happens in my life. I talked to Mom the other day.
Who?
Mom.
Oh, good.
I accidentally didn't talk to her for like 3 weeks.
I haven't heard
Sorry,
from Mom in forever. Mom,
Mom,
where are you?
Well, they were doing wood yesterday.
Oh, okay.
It's wood season back home. Mm-hmm. But it was sunny and like warm out. She kind of hated it, I think. The
Too
boys were
hot.
making her work really hard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She needs a break.
Well, she's going to get one in December.
Yes.
When we go
That's
to
still
the
plan,
castle.
Hey?
Go to the castle.
That's great.
Yeah, I told her how excited I was, and she kind of beamed. She
Aw.
looked so excited, too. I'm just... Because, you know, Mom, we love you, but you worry about other people too much.
Yes. It's true.
Yeah. But I'm so excited. And it'll be a really nice break for you, too.
Yeah. I know. And I have all of December off.
Yeah.
Though I will be painting house.
I am, yeah. But money.
Yeah.
I am
That's
jealous
good.
of that. The week of Christmas for me is actually like the craziest week ever because we like work Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, work. Supposed to work Friday. I don't know
Wait,
how it's going to
what?
work with our 4-day schedule, but
Why wouldn't they just shut down for like a week?
people are in pain.
Okay. I get it.
It will we'll just have to see, but yeah, as of right now it's like 1 day off, 1 day work, 2 days off.
That'll
It's
kind
gonna
of be a
be-
nice little like switch up.
See, I love Halloween, but I'm starting to become a Christmas girl like Mom.
No, Halloween first, sir. We can't keep talking about this.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
you
am
ready?
so excited for Halloween.
Me too. Are you ready for the spooky story?
Yeah, do you want your blue cat back?
My blue cat fell on the ground.
I'm ready for your story.
Okay, we'll see how it goes.
Oh, okay.
It was a cold spring day in March of 1612 when Alison Device, a young woman from a very poor family, was walking along the path through trodden forest. She encountered John Law, an older male peddler, and asked him to spare her some pins. He grumbled and denied, continuing on his way. Out of frustration and anger, Alison cursed at him under her breath and kept on walking. But before she got very far, she heard Law fall onto the ground behind her, his body contorted, his left side unmovable, unable to speak or function at all. Alison was, of course, terrified, knowing that she had just bewitched him from cursing him under her breath.
What? Or did he have a heart attack?
So,
Or a
yeah,
stroke? Or both at the same
theory
time?
is that he actually had a stroke.
Yeah.
But since this is the 1600s, this is the
1600s.
1600s in England. It's England, right? Yeah.
I don't know. It's your story. I probably that when you said 16, whatever the year is, 1600s. My brain was like, huh? I can't even comprehend. I
Really?
can't even 1800s is like I can comprehend Victorian times,
Yeah.
but then
1600s.
I don't know what life. I can't even picture it.
Oh, just picture a lot of linen, a lot
Yeah.
of cotton, a lot of wood, a lot of dirt,
Yeah.
and a lot of disgustingness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's in England. A while later, Alison went to the peddler's house to apologize to him. He had forgiven her and was ready to let go of the matter, but the peddler's son was seeking vengeance. The peddler's son told Roger Noel about the incident. And so Noel was part of the church and the court system and was an ambitious Protestant trying to stamp out all the connections to the old religion of Catholicism. So this ties back into the Rasputin story, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to identify nonconformists and bring them to justice. To them, Catholicism was a demonic religion and seemed like witchcraft.
Oh.
At the time, Alison Device was living in the Malkin Towers. So Malkin meant slattern or slut. And it was also referred to as the Mucking Tower, which mucking just means shit. So it's very gross, apparently, from outsiders' point of view. It's a very gross place to be living. It's just a house, but they called it the Malkin Tower.
Oh.
She lived there with her sister, Jeanette Device, her brother, James, her mom, Elizabeth, and her grandmother, Elizabeth Southerns. Now, Elizabeth Southerns went by Old Demdike.
Oh.
So if I say Demdike, it's Alison's grandmother.
Right.
Now, there were no adult men in the house, so all of these women and James were beggars.
Oh.
They had to beg their way
To live.
to live. Yeah, that was their entire job. And Jeanette, Alison's sister, was born from another man, separate from her siblings. So she was, as well as your story earlier, last week, was a bastard child.
Oh.
So their family survived through odd jobs, through begging, and old Demdike was known within the village as a cunning woman.
Oh, don't mess with her.
No, don't mess with her, for sure. And when people needed to be healed or looked after, she was who they went to. She was essentially an herbalist and also probably a midwife to the village as well.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. However, if cunning women did wrong by their clients, they could get into a lot of trouble with the law.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Alison goes around and she's like, I just killed a man by cursing him. And Roger Knoll comes by and brings Alison to the courts, and she confesses to everything. He's like, did you do witchcraft on this man?
Oh, no.
And she's like, yes. But she also ropes her neighbors into it in the process of her confession. This confession also probably scared her little sister, Jeanette, which is important to know for later. There's a very long-standing feud between their family and the Chaddocks' family, which are the neighbors.
Oh, okay.
So between Chaddocks and Demdike, Chaddocks was the grandmother of the neighbor's house.
Okay.
Upon finding out that they were being blamed, Chaddocks pointed the finger back to Demdike, which started a major witch hunt.
Whoa.
On April 2nd, the first arrests were made. Alison Device, Old Demdike, and their neighbors, Old Chaddocks and Anne Redford. So Anne Redford is Chaddocks' daughter, but older woman.
Right.
Yeah. Roger Knoll was super confident that these arrests would impress the king. So a little bit of background of King James I. His mother was Catholic, so to counteract her influence, he was brought up by Presbyterian ministers. He was convinced by them that he was surrounded by witches his entire life.
Oh.
As an adult, he was an avid witch hunter and believed witches were trying to kill him.
Oh. Wait, who was his mom?
I don't know.
Oh. Queen
Elizabeth. No, I don't
Is it?
know.
It could be.
Yeah, it's a good guess.
If you think about, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just thinking about all of the queens who have died because they didn't give male heirs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
He wrote the King James Bible. And within this Bible, he states, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So he's all in on killing witches.
Oh, because they suffer if the witch lives.
Yes. Afterward, he wrote another book, and this one has gone down in history. It's called Demonology. Have you heard of that?
Oh, I want to read it.
It's going to be really hard to read, but I would love if you read it. That would be amazing. Demonology is about the nature of hell and what to do with it. And within it, they had a mandate for all of Britain to hunt witches.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
that is so crazy.
Yeah.
That is so over the top.
Yeah. No, for sure. And so there's a lot of things at play here, right? Like witches were actually usually just women.
Yeah.
Women who weren't married to men. Women who were poor or men who were poor. And a lot of people who were natural healers, herbalists, were Catholic instead of Protestant. Yeah, so really, and witch hunts still happen today. They just look different, right?
Yeah.
It's all rooted in patriarchal sexism.
Yeah.
So.
And it's crazy, too, if you think about it, especially back then, because it's like, okay, well, if they're like herbalists, naturopaths, like natural healers, I don't know, science wasn't really like very evolved at that time. So weren't they also healers?
Yeah. Well, and people really depended on these healers.
Yeah. So it's just the lower class healers that are witches.
And I think one of the main things that started this witch hunt, so this is the Pendle witch hunt, the Pendle Witches.
Okay.
The main thing that started this was because of King James and the book Demonology, and also another book that I'll get into in a little bit.
Okay.
So on Good Friday, 1612, everyone should have been in church.
Mm-hmm.
However, at Malkin Tower, they had a party.
Oh.
Yeah.
Party.
To feed everyone, the brother stole a sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So already they're kind of in the bad books, right?
Yeah.
The people who were awaiting trial in Lancaster Castle, because all the people that were collected were sent to Lancaster Castle.
Right.
The people...
We're losing track of the people.
We're losing track. There's so many people.
There's too many.
So the people that weren't at the Good Friday party were Allison,
Okay.
Demdike,
Yep.
Chaddix,
Okay.
and Anne.
Okay.
No one knows what happened that day at the tower. Was it an Easter party? Was it a friendly dinner? Or was it a witches' gathering?
Oh, I just got chills.
They were accused of conspiring to blow up Lancaster Castle and murdering the jailer.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. I wonder who started that rumor.
I know.
It was just like, you know what? I actually think they suck and they're trying to blow shit up and kill people.
Well, I think because the jailer did actually die, I don't know how it got tied back to them other than just that
it was weird.
the family connections, like some of them were already arrested.
Oh, so they were like, they bewitched the jailer.
Yeah, and also Allison, who was arrested, who was terrified and really scared in her position.
Yeah.
Probably also was talking about her grandmother being a cunning woman.
Right.
AKA a witch.
Right.
So everyone that was at the party on Good Friday was arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And then they claimed that there were more people at the party.
Right.
They implicated... That's the word. I always forget that word. I always forget the word implicated and entitled. It's weird. They're just not in my brain. They implicated Alice Nutter, her sister-in-law, her nephew, and a friend as well. Noel sent another 8 people to join the 4 that were already at Lancaster Castle.
Oh.
Jeanette Device, remember Jeanette?
Yeah.
She was at the tower that day.
Oh.
But she was not arrested.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later.
Oh.
So first a little bit about Alice Nutter, because she was kind of an odd one out. So the Nutters were a strong Catholic family, and Noel wanted to catch these Catholics.
Right.
They had 2 relatives who were priests that had been hung, drawn, and quartered.
Oh.
So really, Alice Nutter was just used as a pawn. She definitely wasn't at Malkin Tower, but she was implicated by the others.
Right.
And this was just a way for Roger to, like, round up more Catholic people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so one of the reasons that they know that she wasn't there is she was actually really wealthy.
Oh.
And so there's no way that she would be
queen.
spending time with peasants,
right,
essentially, in the muck, in the mucking tower.
No kidding.
Like, no. So, but she was implicated and she was brought to the castle.
Dang, she must have been so pissed off. She'd be like, I do not associate with those people.
No, I know.
Damn.
Yeah. So Lancaster Castle was actually a working prison until spring 2011.
What?
Mm-hmm. So for hundreds of years.
It kind of sounds familiar.
I know.
Did Ryan and Shane go there?
I think a lot of people have gone there, and
Did
also
Sam and Colby go
don't
there?
don't get it confused with Muncaster Castle, which was in our last this Tom Skelton one.
Yeah.
I kind of got it confused with that for a sec.
Very familiar. Or yeah.
I know.
Okay, well, I will look it up on YouTube.
You
later.
should. There's one tower that's still part of the castle. Actually, a lot of the castle is still the original foundation.
Whoa.
But one of the main towers where all these people stayed is known as the Witches' Tower. So in the Witches' Tower, it wasn't actually, they weren't up in a tower.
Yeah.
They were actually down like in a basement.
Oh,
so it's cold and wet and dark and disgusting in there.
Moldy.
And there's 20 people. Yeah, there was rats. There were 20 people held in a space that was only 20 feet by 12 feet.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. To bring it back to Jeanette, no one knows where she was during this time. But what people think is that she lived under the protection of Noel, and he would have manipulated her into a further confession, which we will get to.
Oh, because she was young?
Yeah, because she was young, and because I think she also, because she was already kind of an outcast,
Right.
She was a bastard child.
Yeah.
She, I guess, didn't like her family that much.
Oh, okay.
And she was probably treated like shit because of being a quote bastard unquote child.
Right.
And so she probably just used all of this as fodder to try to remove herself from the family.
Mm-hmm.
So I think how it kind of played out is that she was probably like, yeah, they're all witches. They're all doing witchcraft.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of these things.
Right.
And I think Noel kind of took her under his wing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, also, because then she's like, well, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
I am going to save myself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Demonology, the book.
Oh, great. Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. There's this phrase in it, and it goes like this. In my opinion, barns or wives, or never so defamed persons, may of our law serve for sufficient witnesses and proofs in matters of high treason against God. So he's saying that witchcraft is treason against the king and God.
Yeah.
And that the law should and that the law should allow children to testify in court
Against their parents?
Mm-hmm. This actually
Ooh.
deeply influenced the professional justice system, and it actually, I don't know if it was actually Demonology or if it was the other book, which is so there was another book that was written, and it's called The Malus Maleficarum. Have you heard of it?
I think so.
Yeah, it's like the main witch hunter book. It's translated
okay.
as The Hammer of Witches. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yep. And so it kind of like, it was written, let's see, it was written really close to or right after Demonology.
Okay.
And so both the book Demonology and the Malus Maleficarum
Yeah.
had a really big impact on the Salem witch trials.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these books were brought across the waters. And the Salem, so these witch trials happened in the early 1600s.
Yeah.
And the Salem witch trials happened in the late 1600s.
Oh.
So this is how it
yeah.
strongly impacted
And
the
it-
justice system.
Yeah. Went across the world.
Yeah. So there's that. There's another, there's so many books. There's one more book by Thomas Potts, and it was called The Wonderful Discovery of Witches in the Castle of Lancaster.
Oh.
And this book contains all of the notes for the trial that is about to unfold of the Pendle Witches.
Oh, that's so cool. It's so hard to find written records of trials that date so far back. That is really cool.
I know. It's pretty amazing. All right. It's kind of interesting too, that book was dedicated to Thomas Knivet, who arrested Guy Fawkes. And Guy Fawkes was someone who also wanted to burn down Parliament.
Oh, shit.
So kind of making a clear
Okay.
connection of witches to those who commit treason.
Right.
Yeah. So it's all just these power tripping men
Yeah.
who just want to kill people.
Right. Because what else would they do with their time?
Exactly.
There's nothing else to do.
So the arrests happened in April. Now, a few months later, on August 18th in 1612, was the trial of all of the people that were arrested.
Oh, one trial?
Yep.
For 20 people?
I think so. The main people.
That's what?
It happened in the courtroom of Lancaster Castle, which is still actually a working courtroom today. I think it actually happened in the library section, but then it was moved a little bit. But there's
Okay,
still...
so we have to go to Lancaster Castle.
Yeah.
We have to go there. We have to go.
I know.
We're going to England.
We have to go to Europe anyway, because I want to live in Scotland or Ireland for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
let's frickin' go.
Yeah. Within the courtroom, there were 2 judges, a jury, witnesses, and defendants. So it was a full-on real trial.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Potts took the notes, which became his best-selling book, as mentioned before. And so Alison Device was convinced of her own guilt of using her words against the man that died.
Yeah.
Yeah. She stated that she couldn't heal him, but her grandmother, Demdike, could have healed him. But still, she's confessing to everything that happened. And in Potts's book, he liked Alison, and he wrote about her really sympathetically.
Aw.
He liked I mean, yeah, it's cute, but also he just liked women who are in like a desperate position. So it's
Damsel
kind of also
in distress strikes again.
Exactly. However, Allison's mother, who was fierce and confident that she did not kill him, he didn't like her. And he wrote really foul things about her in his book.
Oh.
He said something like the preposterous nature of her eyes.
Oh.
Because her eyes were like deformed and one of them just like hung a bit lower.
Rude.
So he's just like calling out her deformities and using that as fodder to be like, she's an evil woman. Yeah.
So mean.
Elizabeth, Allison's mom, was obviously extremely furious and continued to protest her innocence.
Yes.
Witnesses were not common in this time. However, they brought Jeanette to testify against her mom.
What?
Yeah.
The betrayal that her mom must have felt?
Yeah, and so her mom is yelling at her in the courtroom like, don't do this, right? Like, we are innocent. Do not do this. What are you doing? Like, you're out of your mind. Do not testify against us. And Jeanette was so scared that she asked for her mother to be taken away before she would speak.
Whoa.
She denounced her own mother as a witch. So straight up,
Jeanette.
she's like, yeah. We don't know why she would have said this, but it makes a lot of sense. She was probably just reciting her lines, right? Because she spent her...
If you say this, we won't harm you.
Yeah.
And you're not a witch.
Exactly. So this is what she said. My mother is a witch, and I know that to be true. I have seen her spirit in the likeness of a brown dog, which she called Ball. The dog did ask what she would have him do, and she answered that she would ask him to kill.
To kill.
So then, about Good Friday, she says this. At 12 noon, about 20 people came to our house. My mother told me that they were all witches.
Oh my God.
She then went on to describe the food they ate and the people she knew. She was able to pick all of them out of the crowd. So they had a bunch of people sitting up in like the bleachers.
Yeah.
And they got her to actually go up and pick out each person.
Whoa.
And like grab them by the hand and bring them down into the courtroom.
Whoa. What a way to do a freaking like
And so
lineup.
Obviously like she's being exploited.
Yeah.
But she was the way to crack open this ring of witches.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And something I forgot to say, Jeanette was 9 years old.
She was 9?
Yeah.
I thought she was like a preteen.
No. I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
Jeanette.
I know. It's really,
she didn't
really
know any
up.
better.
No.
She probably just hurt. Her feelings were probably hurt because they probably weren't that great to her.
Yeah. So then James, you remember, James is her brother. Yeah. He also defended against his mother. He claimed that he found skulls and teeth and that these skulls and teeth were used as rituals and used for magic and used on Good Friday.
Well, why is he going against his mom now too?
Probably protection.
Probably because he
didn't want to die.
Well, if I go against her, then they won't kill me.
Yeah. So he ended up giving teeth like as evidence, like physical evidence.
Whoa.
But then Jeanette turns on James. She says that he had been a witch for 3 years and that he had killed 3 people. She recited charms that she heard her brother saying.
What?
Yeah. However, these charms were probably just prayers, practices, and a combination of Catholic texts that swirled together to sound like healing charms.
Right.
So I think she's like used to hearing these prayers, obviously in the Malkin Tower in her household. And then she's just reciting a bunch of things jumbled together to make it sound like a charm or a spell.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't believe that is so diabolical of this 9-year-old
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. We don't actually think that Jeanette knew that this would lead to her mother being hanged.
Oh. What do you think they said to her?
I don't know. I think they just manipulated her so hardcore.
That is so sad.
Yeah. And so after she implicates her mother and all of these people so intensely with evidence, her mother is desperately trying to make Jeanette realize what she's done.
Right.
She's trying so hard. And kind of like what I was touching on earlier is that we should understand that Jeanette probably thought that these people really were witches, right? And she wanted to distance herself. She didn't want to be put into that category of being a witch.
Right. She wanted to be like a good girl.
Yeah. So continuing on, Jeanette also denounced Alice Nutter and her friends as witches as well. That's when she picked people out one by one.
Okay.
And it was just from groups. The groups that she picked them out of were castle prisoners.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so these witch trials didn't depend on the older witch hunting books, which I believe might have been, well, I'm not really sure. Maybe fact check me. I'm thinking maybe it didn't really depend on the Malleus Maleficarum that much.
Okay.
I think it was mainly King James's demonology book. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, wait. I have a question. Kind of unrelated. How did they, back then, in the, what are we, 1600s?
1600s, yeah.
How did they print books?
Well, they were written by hand.
Damn. Because it's crazy, because it's like the people are reading demonology.
Well, not the people.
Oh.
Like, not the mass people, just like King James and his, like, 5 friends.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Like, no one else knows what's going on. It's like this secret thing that's happening.
Within, like, government.
Yeah, and then it's being used against the people.
Right, so they're just like, in King James' book, demonology.
Yeah. And because books weren't as prevalent, this is actually a really great point, that because they aren't, then the books that are available are taken as, like, God's word, essentially.
Right, yeah.
Right? Okay. And if it's, like, King James the First Bible, like, then that is the law.
Especially the king. Because power.
Yes, exactly.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the evidence that they had against these witches were some things that they took directly out of demonology. Witches use body parts for evil magic. That was like the skull and the teeth.
Oh, okay.
They make clay images. So, like, they found little, like, clay dolls kind of in the house. And that children are extremely useful as witnesses. And that's why they used Jeanette. So we often assume that witch accusations were a big delulu of the time, really. But people believed that witches were real.
Right.
And they believed that accusing witches was really important because of this text and because of, like, the hysteria surrounding it.
Right. Well, I mean, also, what else are they gonna do? Like, no, I'm being serious, though. Like, what else are they gonna do with their time?
I know, honestly.
Than to, like, talk about and gossip.
Exactly. What are they gonna do?
Nothing.
No. So eventually, 10 people were found guilty for causing death or harm by witchcraft and sentenced to hang. Here are their names: Alison Device, Elizabeth Device, James Device, Anne Whittle, Anne Redfern, Isabel Rodby, Alice Nutter, Jane Bulcock, John Bulcock, and Catherine Hewitt. They were all brought to Gallows Hill, forced to climb the ladder, a noose was put around their neck, and they died from slow strangulation.
Oh.
So it wasn't even like a breakneck hanging.
So how does that kind of hanging work? Did they just lift them up?
I think so.
Oh my God.
Family and friends would come by and pull on their legs to hasten their death.
Oh, that's awful.
I know. Yeah. They could make one final confession to save their souls, not to not be hung,
but to
save them.
Right.
And Elizabeth and Alice never once confessed to being a witch.
Yeah, clearly.
One of the saddest parts of all of this is that Jeanette probably watched the hangings.
Oh my God.
So Gallows Hill is now a park, and it also has a playground on it where kids can play and hang out. I know. It's super interesting. It's not like directly on it, but it's in that same kind of area.
Oh my gosh.
So there's...
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Think about, like, here in Victoria.
Yeah.
Like Pioneer Square.
Yeah. Is that Bastion Square the same thing or no?
No, it's on Quadra, I think.
Oh.
by the church.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or is it the one where that market always is by government? What's that one called?
Oh, I biked. Okay, I just biked through here last night, and I was feeling so spooked. Whoa. You want to know this? That at Pioneer Square, there was approximately 1,300 people interred there.
Huh?
1,300.
What?
I know.
That's a lot of people.
I know. So there's no recorded history of what happened to Jeanette Device immediately after this. Mm-hmm. But her influence would travel far beyond Lancashire. However, children under the age of 14 were not technically credible witnesses stated by the law. So there's a law against it. But then in the demonology book, it's fine. Yeah.
And because it was written by the king, King's word rules.
So there is another book as well. Sorry, I'm bringing up a lot of old books, but I think they're important. It's called Dalton's The Country Justice. And this was used by all magistrates in England and the colonies of America. So this one also went zoop over to America during colonization settlement time.
Right.
Yep. And in this book, it says, for children, I find in the book In the Discovery of Witches, so he is referencing Thomas Pott's book, that the son and daughter of Elizabeth Device, a witch, the one about 9 years old, the other 14, did upon their oaths give evidence upon their mother. This just helped to give praise to seek the witness of children across America, across England, you know. Mm-hmm. There are still trials today that rely on child testimony as young as 3 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, of course, but I think that's really challenging.
Yeah.
But you do what you can, right? Mm-hmm. So, eventually, Jeanette herself came to fall victim to the very precedent that she set.
Oh, shit. Full circle moment. What did Jeanette do?
In November 1633, 22 years later, there was a 10-year-old boy who came home late and told his parents a very strange story. He said, I'm sorry, I was late because I was picking berries and I saw two greyhounds, like greyhound dogs.
Yeah.
I tried to get one of them to chase a hare, but they didn't run, so I beat them with a stick. Then one turned into a witch, the other a boy, and she then turned the boy into a horse. She brought me, the boy, with her on the horse to a house where the barn was full of witches, about 60. There were ropes dangling from the ceiling. They were pulling on the ropes and amazing food came falling down. I then ran away and met a boy with cloven hooves who I got into a tussle with.
What the heck? What the heck?
My dog ate my homework.
That is such an elaborate story.
Yeah. So
for a little kid.
I know. And the boy's father took him from village to village to point out the witches that he had seen for 3 months after this.
Oh my God.
On evidence of this bizarre story alone, 20 people were imprisoned and put on trial in 1634. One of these people was Jeanette Device, accused of killing Isabel, wife of William Nutter.
Oh my goodness.
So it kind of makes sense, right? Because Jeanette accused Alice Nutter and now she's accused of killing Isabel Nutter.
Right.
So it makes sense. They're like, she did it.
Yeah.
Her. Yep, her. Yeah.
Whoa.
So she might end up being hung, but England had changed since 1612.
Oh, okay.
The 17th century was a period of really extreme transition politically and religiously. King James was starting to be skeptical, and even skeptical of Thomas Potts.
Oh.
Yeah. In Leicester, in 1616, there was a 13-year-old boy who claimed to be bewitched. The case goes to trial, and 9 women were hanged.
Oh my God.
The king goes to this boy a few months later and discovers that he was lying. And as a consequence, this goes out to other judges to be super careful in witch hunt cases. So they start being like, maybe this is not actually a good thing that we're doing.
Yeah, you're just killing people just because, essentially, at that point.
Yeah. So King Charles, who is King James's son
Yes.
and heir to the throne, he was really doubtful of witch hunting by 1633.
Oh, okay.
Because of that as well, people suspected him of being a Catholic like his wife. Yeah.
What did he have to say to that?
Well, he's really suspicious of Puritanism.
Oh, okay.
Because Puritans are most concerned about devils and demons, which is kind of just like, "Wah,"
Right.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's suspicious. He's suspicious of Protestants. And he's like, they're too intense about all this demon and devil shit.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Protestants are like, Catholics are pagans.
Yeah.
So they're all kind of blaming each other for the same stuff.
Yeah, they are.
The boy who claimed the crazy, bizarre story, his name is Edmund. And on Edmund's testimony, 17 people were found guilty and should have been sentenced to death. But the matter was referred to London.
Oh.
Finally, a big city. 4 of them were sent to London and held in the Fleet Jail. Immediately, playwrights made a play called The Witches of Lancashire.
Oh my
and
gosh.
People could go see the play. People could go see the play.
Yeah.
And then see the people in the jail.
Oh my god.
On the same day.
Whoa.
Yeah. One of the people who was waiting in the jail was Jeanette. Jeanette was held in Lancaster Castle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which, I guess that is Lancashire well, I don't know. I'm confused about whatever.
It doesn't
matter.
sound like Jeanette is going to have a very good fate.
No. 1 year later, in 1634, they had a fully, different idea about all this witch hunting stuff. They kind of were like, haha, you guys are so fun. So their minds completely changed, which would have never happened in 1612. And new forensic, quote unquote, science was happening in 1634.
Oh, yeah.
People began to behave more rationally.
Oh.
They were using objective and physical evidence. And if you couldn't use evidence of medicine, then you couldn't use it. So they were no longer taking
circumstantial.
Yeah, or spiritual evidence.
Right. Or really word of mouth.
Yeah. However, one of these physical evidences were trying to look for witch's mark.
Yeah.
So from the demonology book, it said that you could tell a witch by their witch's mark, which was literally any kind of mark on the skin.
Right. Yeah.
Jeanette Davis had 2 of these marks on her secrets. Oh. And the other 4 women who were brought to London also had marks and were listed on the paper. So also this, looking for marks on women was just a way to degrade them.
Yeah.
And assault them.
Right. Yeah.
They wanted this guy, William Harvey. He was essentially a medicine doctor, scientist guy. Mm-hmm. They were like, can you re-examine the women? And he was a very forward-looking scientist.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, of course I can. I kind of trust him a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
But I'm still kind of like, eh. He and a bunch of midwives went to look over these marks, and they deemed them to be nothing unnatural.
Oh, okay.
This was one of the ways in which witch hunting comes undone. The standards of evidence were raised, and all the trials came to an end.
Whoa, so Jeanette lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under examination, 10-year-old Edmund Robinson cracked and said that he had made up the entire story.
Oh my gosh.
Cross-questioning showed his father had been blackmailing the women, and then they accused anyone who refused to pay. So they went around to the villages. They said, if you don't give us $50, which is $1 million today,
we'll say you're a witch.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jeanette and the other prisoners were all acquitted of witchcraft.
Yay!
It was kind of interesting because the tale that Jeanette told in Pendle refused to go away. And that was the story that enabled Edmund's story to even happen at all.
Right.
He was literally like, I heard this story, and it was Jeanette's story.
And he thought it would just work.
Yeah.
Because it worked for her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is the story of the Pendle Witch Trials. And I just want to finish by saying that evil still exists, and it just changes over time. We still have fear, and fear still leads to miscarriages of justice. Mm-hmm. In 1636, Jeanette was still imprisoned with some of the others who were acquitted.
Oh.
because Lancaster had this really fucked up system where the inmates had to pay for their board.
Yeah.
And they were imprisoned until the debt was cleared.
Right.
Blink, blink.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to keep you here, but you have
that.
to pay to get out. But if you don't pay, then you'll have to pay more.
So does she ever get out?
I don't know. She just kind of fades into history.
Oh.
I know.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
What an interesting story. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was so cool. I've only ever really heard about the Salem witch trials.
And there's a lot, even before the Pendle Witches too, there were other witch trials as well. And those must have been more based on the Malus Maleficarum.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, witches have always been hunted.
Do you think, are there witch trials in Canada?
I wonder.
There must be.
We
should look into that.
Yeah. It might be less like witch specifically, but I feel like a witch hunt as a general thing. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll look into that, because that would be really interesting, because I've only heard like in England and
Salem.
And I think there was Sweden or
They kind of happen all over Europe.
Yeah.
Forever. It's just like the rising tensions of politics and religion, really, and like the changes of those things is when they happen the most, I think. Yeah, I just wanted to share the story too, because we're so close to Halloween.
Yeah.
It's spooky ooky time.
Spooky ooky.
And I thought witches. And it's one of, like, I've made art about it before. It's something I'm pretty obsessed with. And yeah, I just thought it would be a really good one to share for the month of October.
Yeah.
Yay.
That is so great.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
And thank you for listening.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
If any questions, comments, or your own ghost stories, you can email us at ghoulsocietypod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram at ghoulsocietypod.
Trigger warnings and resources can be found in each episode's description.
Up in the corner.
Okay, first of all, rude.
This is just the truth. Frickin' bad. Because, mom and dad love that. Well, mom loves that stuff. I don't know about dad.
Yes.
That is
okay.
perfect.
I have to be kind of here though, so I'm not really in it. There, that's better. You could come. Well, I guess you can't really come forward.
Well, I can come forward, but then won't you hear me more?
Yeah. Remember not to be too close.
You're so bossy. Who are you leading?
You! I'm leading us and the boat that is our podcast. Let's freaking go to Spirit Halloween.
Spirit Halloween.